In my dealings with Jesus, he is neither Democrat or Republican. He's above all that stuff. He's not. The problem with endorsing a particular political party is that the Jesuits have infiltrated all of the American political scene. So neither party is reliable. I would also like to invite people to please visit my Facebook and Twitter pages. I post on those every day, and I go into much more detail about my political views, my religious views, my social views, all of my philosophies at these two pages, especially at Facebook. Let me just give you an idea of what I posted at Facebook today. Anybody who's seriously following me needs to go to my Facebook page. And for instance, I'll just read you what I hear. Sifting through the Jesuit mainstream media's desperate talking points on Russia and Syria, war of words. And then I post a commentary from Russia Today. If I had to endorse any news media site that's mainstream, it would be Russia Today. I think they're the most reliable news source that I've read so far. In fact, I've been following them for over a year, so I would heartily endorse Russia Today as the best mainstream news media source to get accurate, unbiased information about what's really going on all over the world. The Western news media is Jesuit contaminated from top to bottom, with the exception of the Gabriel Chana Fox News channel, which isn't really Western because all of the news reporters at the Gabriel Chana Fox News channel live at Church of Gail, and they're basically an international news channel, even though Fox News does sponsor them. But if you want to get the Gabriel Chana Fox News channel, it's 00 on your cable dial if it's in your area. They are the best, but if you can't get them, I recommend Russia Today. Obviously, Russia Today is mainstream, so the Jesuits will not allow them to post like the stuff that you hear me talk about in my videos. Okay, the next post at my Facebook page, I'm a Donald Trump supporter, I'll admit it now. So Donald Trump is now at 34 to 35% support in the Republican polls, and I just said, love it. I said, go Donald Trump. I am withdrawing my support for Hillary Clinton. She has not retracted her support for a no-fly zone against Vladimir Putin in Syria. Here at Facebook, I posted this. Donald Trump thanks Megyn Kelly of Fox News for kind words about his wife. Yeah, I actually listened to that, and Megyn Kelly spoke up for his wife, and apparently a lot of people are claiming she's a bimbo or something and that she's just some dumb model, and it was very insulting to her and not very kind, probably Jesuits. I wrote here, Obama administration spends more money to fund terrorism overseas than to stop terrorism at home in the United States. And I really encourage you to explore all these links at my Facebook page and read them. This is some really intelligent news commentary which you are not getting in the Western press and which you need to get. What you're hearing in the Western press is very, very biased and inaccurate about Vladimir Putin and what he's doing in Syria right now. And then I posted here at Facebook, looks like Jesuits throughout the Middle East are worried about what's happening in Syria and ramping up their activities. By the way, what does this say about American military involvement in Afghanistan? The Taliban is on the offensive. The insurgents seize more land in Afghanistan's northeast. You want to check that Russia Today article. It's very enlightening. And then I posted here at Facebook, more on Russia versus U.S. and Syria. Washington's regime change habit leaves no room for objectivity on Syria. Fancy way of saying that Barack Obama is stuck in a Jesuit rut. So you need to explore that article from Russia Today. And I encourage you, if you're not following Russia Today on your Twitter and Facebook, you really ought to. They're probably one of the best news sources out there right now that you can get in the mainstream media. And while Prime Minister Netanyahu was giving his speech at the United Nations, Secretary of State John Kerry and U.S. Ambassador to the UN Samantha Power were not there. I have a post on that. It says, see no evil, hear no evil. Donald J. Trump is getting supporters left and right, and I think this is awesome because I really like what he has to say about Vladimir Putin and Russia. I got a link here on a Jesuit Western news media source, and it's really a joke. You really need to check this out at Facebook. Russia Today is posting some really informative commentary, and you guys really need to check this out. I have them all lined up at my Facebook site. Corrupt Jesuit Western media reports lies and distortions, and I've got a link to a Russia Today article. It didn't take long after Russia began its anti-terrorist bombing campaign for social media to be flooded with evidence of civilian casualties, and those pictures were actually taken before the bombing even started and then posted in the Western media. And Russia Today talks about that. Innocent Kurds slaughtered in Turkey with full Jesuit United States backing. The United States apparently secretly supports ISIS. You need to explore this link. You said, what's the problem? I really believe that Barack Obama is either worried about maybe the Jesuits are threatening to kill his wife, so he's caved into Jesuit propaganda, to Jesuit politics, or maybe the good Barack Obama automaton, who replaced Barack Obama, who was killed in March 2012, has been dismantled and replaced with an evil Barack Obama clone. I don't know, but something's not right with Barack Obama or with Hillary Clinton. I don't like what either of them are saying about Vladimir Putin. So there's a lot of Turkish double dealing in the fight against ISIS. You need to check this article out. Please visit my Facebook page. Check on all of my posts and check on the links there. You'll get yourself a real education, and you're going to hear some truthful news reporting as opposed. All of the Western media are lying about the Jesuits, about the Jesuit puppets. And just about every Republican candidate out there, with the exception of with the exception of Trump and Ben Carson, appear to be Jesuit puppets to me. The reality, and there's another one who's pretty good. I forget his name, but I don't think he's going to make it though. Reality in Syria very different from what U.S. says. Check the link on that. An Assad advisor says another thing. They're claiming that Assad used sarin gas and that he's a terrorist. From what I understand, that's probably a lie that the West just cooked up to justify their attempt to oust him from power. They made the whole thing up. I think all the evidence that they created was all fabricated. The old paradigms of war are long gone. The U.S. created the Taliban. As I have mentioned several times, George W. Bush was a Jesuit patsy. He basically did whatever the Jesuits wanted because they threatened to kill his wife, Laura Bush, if he wouldn't. Check this article at Facebook that I have posted here. The Volkswagen emissions scandal is not going to spread to Russia because Russia enforces my conspiracy law 100%. Vladimir Putin is my staunchest supporter. And as a result of that, we have more control over Jesuits in Russia than we do in the United States. The Jesuit control, you guys have probably heard about that hospital that hit Doctors Without Borders in Afghanistan. That's like a hospital with Christian doctors in it, or with doctors in it, and the Jesuits hit that, and they're using the American military, and they're claiming that's collateral damage in their fight against terrorism. Hey man, I say withdraw all the U.S. troops overseas and bring them home. You can't trust any of them. The Jesuits are infiltrated totally into the U.S. military. Why are we spending our money, going deeper and deeper into debt with our United States military overseas when all they're doing is supporting Jesuit terrorism over there? You need to check out these articles. Okay. In Ukraine, the Jesuit Poroshenko has pledged to get rid of every mention of Moscow, and he's going to allow Ukraine to go into debt to do that. You got to check the article I have on this in Facebook. He's a crazy Jesuit leader. Critics taking Western leaders to task for singing the praises of corrupt King Abdullah. You got to see the article on this. Is Saudi Arabia exploiting ISIS crisis to weaken the United States and Russia? Excellent commentary on this from RT. You need to listen to this, folks. Please visit my Facebook page and get an education. The Saudi princes planned to down Air Force One with a missile. This was right around the 9/11 attacks. Why aren't we hearing about this in the Jesuit-controlled Western press? Check the article I have on that at my Facebook page from Russia Today. The judge tossed a 9/11 suit against Saudi Arabia. This was a U.S. judge, citing sovereign immunity. I'm starting to believe that the good automaton for President Barack Obama has been dismantled and replaced with an evil Jesuit clone. This is outrageous. They have evidence in this article. You need to please visit my Facebook page that Saudi Arabia secretly financed Osama bin Laden and all those people who attacked us on 9/11. And then we're not allowed to sue them now. They have sovereign immunity. Our own country is betraying us, run by a bunch of evil Jesuit thugs. There is a brilliant commentary that you've got to check at my Facebook page. This is what I wrote. Brilliant commentary. Wrong wars, wrong enemies. Time to follow Russia's lead against ISIS. Brilliant at Russia Today. Please visit my Facebook page and read the stuff. Don't believe all the lies you're hearing at Fox News, CNN, and all of the mainstream press. It's a bunch of Jesuit propaganda. The problem with these news reporters is if they don't lie for the Jesuits threaten to kill the news reporters and replace them with Jesuit clones. So you are not going to get the truth in the Western press. You know, I listened to Barack Obama's speech yesterday and what he had to say about Vladimir Putin, and I can only conclude, like I said before, Jesuits are threatening to kill his wife if he won't cooperate with Jesuits, or he's an evil Barack Obama clone. Like it's really funny that Barack Obama in 2012 said that's ridiculous to go fight, to treat Russia like we did in the 1950s, and that he didn't believe in us, fighting them or disagreeing with them in the Middle East, and now he's done an about turn. Something's happened to Barack Obama. Something's not right there. And an easy way to tell if a leader or a politician is a Jesuit supporter is their stance on Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin is the #1 anti-Jesuit leader in the world today, because he is on my merit list at #2 spot, which is very high, and I am probably the strongest person out there fighting the Jesuits. And anybody who is against Vladimir Putin, write it down. They're a Jesuit or a Jesuit supporter, or they are an extortion victim, and they have to take the stance they do, or they will be killed, or one of their loved ones will be killed. And judging by the last YouTube video I posted, you see how the Jesuits operate. They use extortion to try to get cooperation. It doesn't work with me because I'm more scared of God than I am of Satan. And anyways, it's terrible what happened to that hospital. I don't believe that was an accident. I think that was a Jesuit deliberate target. Apparently, there were some anti-Jesuit doctors, or maybe my Brent was in that hospital. I don't know. He's a doctor. And then here's another link. Russia honors those who suffered under Stalin, who was a Jesuit puppet. Vladimir Putin is he is putting up a big monument to honor the victims of political repressions in Moscow. And this is it's called the Wall of Grief. You got to read this, okay, at RT. Vladimir Putin is a great president and is not at all like Stalin. Vladimir has been my brain-to-brain lover, and I can tell you he's a great man. And you just can't believe all the crap that the Western news media is saying about him. Okay, so just please check out the Russian Air Force has hit 50 ISIS targets in the past 30 days. They're doing and they're using surgical strikes. They're going out of their way not to hit civilians. Okay, you need to check out the real news, which you can get at my Facebook page and my Twitter page. Please check out all the links and hear the other side of the story. And you're going to have to draw a conclusion. Either the Russians are lying or the United States is lying, because they're telling two different stories. I believe the United States is lying because I know Vladimir Putin. Okay, I know him. He's a great man. He's brave, heroic, and a great leader. It's the U.S. that's lying, not Russia. With the exception possible of Donald Trump. Donald Trump seems an exception. I like Donald Trump so far. So I endorse him. Hillary's out. So